Hello! Welcome back to Papa-Norr Story Time. My name is Papa-Norr. So far, as you know, we are reading The Step Monster. The Step Monster. A family a family that consists of a husband, a wife, father, mother, a son, and a daughter. The daughter is the eldest, the son is the youngest. And then the mother dies, the youngest suddenly loses his speech and doesn't talk anymore. And then the father meets another woman. Within a short period of time, a month or two, they are engaged and having a wedding. And in chapter 8, which was last week, which is that which I read to you, the engagement party was taking place, and all kinds of things are going on. And the wedding party was taking place in the house of the lady, Nadu, who is the new mother to be, or the step monster. And because she's a florist, plants all over the place, in a front yard, in the backyard, inside the house, the porch, everywhere. So as we jump into chapter 9, we will see what happens and how the book and the story unfolds. So before we enter into chapter 9 and see how the story is developing, once again I would like to acknowledge newear.co.uk. Anywhere. So it's pronounced A-N-Y, where, W-E-A-R, anywhere. So just go to the website and you will find a plethora of clothing that they make. They make clothing for gym, they make clothing for jogging, for running, they make clothing for the house, they make clothing for summer, spring, autumn, winter. If it's wearable, it's doable. With anywhere, if it's wearable, it's doable. So as you can see, Anywhere has clothed me for chapter 9 again, and this is the logo you should look out for on the website. Thank you very much. So let's get into chapter 9 and see how the story is unfolding and developing in this new family that is coming together. Chapter 9. They didn't leave for a honeymoon because it was peak holiday season. They both couldn't afford to take time off work. I was glad they weren't going away. Going away would have meant Nyawayo would have moved in to keep an eye on Nana and me. Pope wasn't convinced I could take care of both of us. Peak season meant Nadu was busy with her business as well. She shuttled between Accra and Ada. I was overjoyed on weekends when she didn't come. When she didn't come over and Pope couldn't leave. I heard him talking a number of times about getting another chef. I hoped it was just talk. She slept in Pope's room when she came for the weekends. He packed Mama's stuff out into the storeroom. He looked down her pictures from the living room. Each time he left for work, I put them back up. After a while, he stopped taking them down. She was his new wife, but no one said she had to be uncomfortable in my house, or that I had to like her. As he dubbed it, the war against Nadu, and gave me a point for maintaining the pictures. When Nadu came over, she cooked for us. I didn't know whom she wanted to impress. She was a mediocre cook. My dad had been a banker whose first love was cooking. Now he was a fully fledged chef. I didn't even pretend to eat her food like he, Nana and Mancha did. The first time, she made boiled yam and garlic egg stew. I don't know if I forgot there was Kobe in the stew and added way too much salt. I spat it out after taking the first bite. Ew, disgusting. Pope said it wasn't that bad, and that I was to finish my food. I think he chooses to forget I finished SHS. I'm not a child anymore. No one can tell me what to do. I got up from the table and emptied my plate into the bin. Pope flashed me a warning look. I ignored him. Did he think I was two? This isn't even fit for a dog. Garden egg stew with Kobe and salt again? Come on. Any sensible woman should know that you don't put salt in a Kobe stew. I walked out on them. I called Asai and updated her. Score 2-0. My mother always pounded yam. My mother always pounded cassava and plantain for fufu. She said only lazy women go in for this neat fufu stuff. That wasn't actually true. The statement was true, all right, but it hadn't been Mama who had said it. It had been Nyawayo who had said it to Mama when she found a box of neat fufu flour in our kitchen cupboard. Mama had thrown the box away when Nyawa left. All the fufu she had subsequently eaten had been the pounded type. I'm sure you like it once you tried. It tastes just like the pounded fufu and takes a fraction of the time to prepare. I left her in the kitchen with her fufu flour. It didn't taste half as bad as I thought it would, but my point had been 3-0. Team Worky was in the lead. Nadu was trying too hard to win me over. She tried to bribe me with gifts. She bought me clothes, shoes, jewelries, handbags. I accepted them all. Of course, I wasn't stupid, and I would need new outfits for the university, but I continued waging my war against her. One night, I snuck out of the house to the nursery where she had started in town. I dropped pieces of minced meat and chicken stock into the soil around the seedlings. I left the gate wide open. The next morning, she was in tears as she told Paul that the stray dogs in the neighborhood had done to the garden. They had dug out all the plants and shredded them into pieces. She swore that she had closed the gate behind her. Pope kept insisting that she must have forgotten to shut it properly, which only made her angrier. They had their first fight that morning. Asai gave me 10 extra points for innovation and creativity. The score is now 13-0. Naughty little girl. I did little things she wouldn't notice. I put extra salt in the food she cooked. I poured more water in her rice so it looked more oboto than it was ready. I put extra kanwe in the beans. I poured more pepper into a stew. It got so bad that Pope said she could just come over for the resort for our meals. Score 16-0. I had Asai buy a new SIM card and send anonymous text messages to Pope, warning him to stay away from this lady. I don't know how Nadu explained the messages, but I could feel the tension between her and Pope growing. Asai sent 6 messages in all. I got a point for each message she sent. Score 22-0. I got another 2 points each time Kobana, one of Asai's boyfriend, called the landline and Pope answered. Kobana hung up when she heard Pope's voice. When Nadu answered the phone, Kobana pretended to know her. He would call her by her full name and ask when she was coming back home to him. Nadu would keep asking, "Who is this, please?" "Who? What did you say your name was? Where do I know you from?" While Pope pretended not to listen. He stepped it up a notch higher and had Kobana actually call Pope and warn him to stay away from Nadu. Asai gave me 10 extra points for thinking that up. I could tell Pope was frustrated and Nadu didn't know what to say in her defense. One night, after the mystery caller called, I stepped out of the house to update Asai. I was still speaking to her when Mancha stepped out of the shadows. Asai I'll call you later, okay? Somebody's coming. I'll call you later. He grabbed me and practically dragged me to his room. Manche's room was one place I tried not to frequent. There wasn't even space on his bed for him to sleep on. He actually slept on the floor. His junk was everywhere. He added an old typewriter, the blades of a ceiling fan, coconut husk, and a bucket of wheelbarrow to his collection. The crown corks that had been in his car had been sorted out according to their colors and were soaking in different buckets of soapy water that smelled like bleach. He divided the room into two with a curtain. No one was allowed to go behind the curtain. That was where he did his work and didn't like anyone seeing it until it was finished. Are you and Asei the ones behind those calls? Which calls? I knew it was too late to try to act innocent, but there was no harm in trying. What's wrong with you? It's just a little harmless fun. Don't you care at all that you're hurting not only Nadu but Pope also? Do you think it's easy for her, living here in this house with you, with things Auntie Issy picked and her pictures in almost every room? How do you think she feels? She can't do anything without being reminded that that's not how Auntie Issy did it. I shrugged. Manche's words were entering through one ear and leaving through the other. Nadu should have thought of that before deciding to become a step-mother or a step-monster. Everyone needs some type of companionship. Why are you so angry that your father wants to continue his life? I'm not stopping him from living his life, but it's wrong for him to force her on me. They were married for 23 years. How can he just throw that away? The vows say, till death do us part. His commitment ended when she died. It's so easy for you to stand there and say his commitment ended when she died, when you yourself probably come from a broken home. If you know so much about commitment, why aren't you staying with your own parents? His face darkened. I knew I'd hit close to home. He never spoke about his past. I whirled around and started marching to the door, but he grabbed me again. If those anonymous calls and messages don't stop immediately, I'll tell Pope. In fact, if anything suspicious ever happens, I'll tell Pope. I'm 16. You can't tell me what to do. Then for goodness sake, stop this childish foolishness. Even Nene has more sense than you. Manche walked away and left me seething, but I took this threat seriously. Anyhow, the damage had already been done. Seeds of distrust had been planted. Love at first sight had been moved to the back burner. Pope and Nadu began to act civilly around each other. Nadu took to coming over every other 2 weeks. I became civil to Manche also. Even when he tried to chat and be friendly, I gave him the cold treatment. End of chapter 9.